My right leg is crooked. There's a discrepancy between my hip, knee, and ankle alignment. Some days I'll stand up and experience a sharp, stabbing pain in the bottom of my right foot that causes me to limp. My pinky toes curl down like claws. I have a very flat back. It causes me to punch and cave in at the shoulders. The bones on my shoulders rise to sharp points. One day they may poke through my skin. I've often imagined these bones are the remnants of when I once had wings. I have an average-sized penis. I've occasionally battled erectile dysfunction. I grow very little hair on my chest, but a lot from the waist down. Half animal, like my father. There's a vertical scar on my right arm. You may have heard stories about it. I started those. I like to tell them. In truth, it was an ugly birthmark I had removed for cosmetic reasons. This is a chickenpox scar. This is a birthmark. You've never seen these before. They're usually airbrushed because I don't really like them. There's one here that I've always detested. It's half the reason I've maintained a beard for 10 years. And there used to be one here, but I've had it removed. I've always held my thoughts in the muscles between my eyebrows, and now permanent wrinkles are beginning to form there. My hair has always been somewhat of a trademark, but you probably don't know how unpredictable it is. The right side is straighter than the left, for instance. It makes my face appear lopsided. And a simple shift in humidity means the difference between control and chaos. I don't like that. My skull is uneven. If you were to run your fingers through my hair, you would traverse craters and riverbeds. I find solace by thinking of my head as a planet. Although, not this planet. This one is made of gas. Are you still with me? Stay with me. I'm up here and you're down there, but I'm not going to lie to you. To begin with, you're watching me because you have to. I'm on every screen and you can't turn me off. Not for another 6 minutes, until we've had a moment to talk. So get comfortable. Move around. Sleep if you need to. I want you to be yourself. And I want your attention. Listen. I know what you're going through. I know there's a man in Chengdu that's likely to lose his job as a mine engineer. I know there's a family in Tromsø that's huddled around their fireplaces for as long as they have wood to burn. I know there are passengers on a flight to Bangkok, probably still stuck at the Hotel Istanbul. I know there's a girl in Sao Paulo all alone because her parents never made it home. I know because I am the one who has done it. You're looking for someone to blame. Blame me. I'm not scapegoating myself. I am actually the one who did this to you. Jove. Just Jove. No, that's not my real name. And it's different from the name I had before, the name most of you associate with my face. I have rebranded myself. No, I have revived myself. You are likely asking, is this a trick? This is not a trick. Or a miracle, or the reaping, or the end of the world. It is quite possibly the beginning of the world. You are also likely asking, is this temporary? How long will it last? When can I go back to work? When will the air conditioner return? I do not know the answer to these questions, but you do. The situation I have put in place is irreversible. But I have no control over how long you may struggle. Your struggles must be temporary. I believe this must be the case. In the deepest part of my soul, I believe it. I believe in you. But I make no promises. I hold myself 100% accountable for what I did to Earth 5 days ago. But I have no control over how this may proceed. You are in control. You may think that because I'm up here, because I had some magic to make this happen, that I hold some sway over your experience. This is no longer the case. This was not for my sake. It isn't. I am, by all considerations, no longer an earthling, no longer a member of your society. I am some bastard version of a person, outcast and exiled from the human race. And I know what I've done to you. So I've imprisoned myself here, for all to see at all times. You see, I will never be off camera. There is no backstage. And after 20 years, 19 years, 364 days, and 17 and a half hours, I will die. My rations will run out at the same time. My heart will stop, and you will never have to see me again. You can trust me on this, and ignore me completely. Or you can tune in at the end and find out for yourself. Or you can stay with me. Your governments have probably formed search parties. You can disband them. You'll find the mountains, the tar sands, the shale pockets, all hollow and dry. You won't find what you're looking for because it no longer exists. Let go of your guns. Let the mines and the pumps and the rigs turn to rust and focus on your families. There are bigger fish in the sea, to fry. You see, there are no censors, no speechwriters. I'm showing you all my cards. I'm just Jove, fallible, horrible, and here. I realize you have never known honesty. Not from someone like me. But I have no reason to lie to you, because I am only here for you. Shortly after this broadcast, within hours maybe, for most of you, your remaining fuel, the half tank of gas in your car, the last juice from the local utility, your generators, your laptop's battery life, will run out. But if you want to keep watching me, you will find a way to keep watching me. I know you will. And even though I am 588 million kilometers away, I can talk to you, and you can talk to me.
At Jove, you are not God. Hashtag
Помнишь вкус
monster.
мороженого? Хэштаг юм-ям. Хэштаг
Ah,
грусть.
Joe, maman dit
Хэштаг
que c'est ta faute
было
sur le
хорошо
ménage. Je te
общаться.
déteste.
Jove.
Hashtag
Bizden
migration
istedikleri
forcée de merde.
çok fazla. Hepimiz
I
için
am 8 years
ne
old.
kadar ağaçlı olursa olsun
Things are hard on
içinde
Earth.
insanlar
Hate the city.
yaşaması,
You guys will come
temiz ve
live on
sürdürülebilir
shore
bir
sucks.
dünyanın
Hashtag
ne
forced
işi
migration.
var?
Hashtag desastre y hashtag
On
desesperación
celebra
es lo que te
Dugostic Sorvech.
hace. Gracias por
Hashtag
llevarnos de
ñoño.
vuelta a la edad
Hashtag
media.
cara triste.
Many of you will not survive the next year. Your reality will be uprooted. You will face hardships the likes of which you have never imagined. And then, one day, years from now, after decades of ingenuity and empathy, the world will stabilize and a new kind of person will be made. This was my plan. And now, once again, it is your world. You have everything you need.
Jove, 3 gallons left in the tank. How long am I supposed to make this last?
Joe, really missing my mom today. This is so unfair. Hashtag no planes, hashtag stranded.
At Jove. Dude, your plan is totally bumming me out. I just got my driver's license and now I can't drive anywhere? Hashtag Sweet 16 got sour.
Jove, I'm gardening, as in rolling around.
At Jove, I lost 10 pounds walking to work for the past 3 days. Hashtag hot bod.
At Joe, this crazy guy in Times Square or right. Hashtag the end
At
is
Joe,
near.
you
Hashtag
interrupt all my
we're
favorite
doing it.
TV shows. OMG,
At
you
Joe,
ruined
one more
everything with
white
a big
dude
fat
fucking it
stupid
up for the
face.
rest of
Joe.
us. Hashtag
At Joe,
history
Any
repeats
problem
itself.
It's
New
your
York
fault
City,
for moving.
hashtag Brooklyn,
I hate you.
survivors
Hashtag
go to
forced
Prospect
migration
Park
to
for
Lane.
food, water, shelter. We are a
At Joe,
community.
64
We refuse to
cities
eat
and counting
each
have
other.
shut down
Hashtag
schools.
blackout.
Public transit around the world is at a halt. Spare our hospitals and give us our juice back.
At Joe, the air is growing thick with death. We need help.
Jove, the most innocent and vulnerable have been the first to die. You are a monster.
At Jove, I am surrounded by riots and flames. You have created hell on earth.
Good morning, Bangalore, Almaty, Dhaka, Yangon, Bangkok, Jakarta. Good evening, Santiago, Buenos Aires, Asuncion, Montevideo, Sao Paulo. A good day to the rest of you. And happy anniversary. As promised, today you can start calling in, and then every day from now on. I'll choose a caller at random and we'll talk for 5 minutes. Okay? I look forward to hearing from you.
Jove?
I'm here. Who am I speaking with?
I'm calling from what used to be Mumbai, where we have 300 days of sun a year and millions of people starving. On behalf of the city, the university where I used to teach, and the government emergency committee, I demand you give us solar panels.
Can I ask your name?
Or forget the fossil fuels, whatever you did with them, but somehow keep our hospitals and trains running.
There's a bigger picture.
Or root out the billion highest emitters and leave the rest of us
You're
alone.
missing the point.
Shut down the coal-fired power plants, destroy the SUVs, lop off the excess, and most of us will understand. But let the poor have irrigation pumps.
They will, one day soon.
You seem like a rational man. All we seek is a rational scenario. Your first plan did not work. A year has gone by and we are in utter chaos. We know you want a better world. This is not it. Let us help you go back to the drawing board. We're not asking you to give back the Anthropocene. We're not even asking you to return the fossils to the ground. But a middle ground, a little moderation. Give us solar panels and we might survive.
Let me show you something. That is the biggest, most ferocious storm in the entire galaxy. And that is the eye of that storm. A place of calm that cannot exist without the chaos surrounding it. Imagine standing in that storm.
I can no longer imagine peace.
You have to. That's the whole point. You see, the eye is the goal. You, Professor, you have to lead your city into the eye.
Lead the starving, sweating, exhausted masses?
This is also an eye. In the game of Go, in the middle of chaos, it is a secure place. Eyes give you stability. They make you stronger. Mastering Go takes a lifetime, at least. But you have to play the long game, as they say.
In Go, you start with a vision of what you want the board to look like. But to win, you have to constantly adapt that vision. You have to be ready to let it change based on the other person, and to know the other person is variable and individual. Your vision was well intended, but stupid and unimaginably cruel. I have no idea how you did this, but since you did it, you must have the power to change it. And on behalf of humanity, I'm demanding that you do.
Your vision is short-sighted. You want preservation. I have offered you the opportunity for reanimation. You don't want people to suffer. I understand. But I don't agree with you. Look, I appreciate your care and I respect your ideas, but your pleas are irrelevant. I can't give you anything you don't already have. I have no power to help you in the ways you ask. You have to help yourselves. You have 30 seconds.
You could have done such good.
Thank you for your call.
Joe, I can't erase the memories of our cities choked with the dead. You've decimated the human race. Hell is too good for you.
Joe, disaster and hopelessness
We've already
left
lost
behind.
millions of lives.
Thanks for taking us back to the Middle Ages.
Joe, I just
Hashtag
believe you in
dig
theory,
deep.
but in practice, this is real fucking
Joe,
hard.
I really wanted to believe in this grand
Joe,
absurdity,
hypocrites.
but it's been a year and
We're
it's
working
been nothing
ourselves
but
out of
dreams
hands,
disaster.
Rosetti, while you're playing
Thank you.
What
Why
could
am I
have
still
been a
watching
sustainable world if no one has left to live on it?
Joe, you're
Joe,
fucking wrong.
Looking forward to transferring my assembly line
Rockets.
skills to green
And
energy.
Joe, this
Hashtag
ecotourism gone too
progress.
far.
Hashtag
Suck it,
best
Joe.
world.
And Joe, been
Joe.
drilling for months, still no luck.
Donating resources and send a missile to Jupiter.
And Joe,
Screw you, Joe.
first step, occupy Jupiter.
Joe.
Second step,
Suck it,
reclaim
big
our
oil.
fossil fuels.
Hashtag diesel.
First step, profit.
Exxon, at Total, at BP, at Shell, if any of you are still out there, got secrets to share. This is not a prank. Real info, cheap price. And Joe, fuck you. Hashtag reclaim.
At Jove, tax season, no return. Hashtag make Jove pay.
In June of our second year, you gave advice to a mother who lived in a city in squalor and stood in line all day for bread when once she could have baked it herself. You said to her, "Patience, keep waiting in that line, and in the hours when you are out of line, be dogged. You will bake that bread again, I have no doubt." And I heard your words and took them to heart. I wept for my father, who without access to insulin died swiftly on a couch alone. I wept for him, but I did not crumble or come apart. It was not difficult. I was thinking about my pregnant friend who could use my father's belongings. I buried him in the yard and planted asparagus out of him, and 3 years later I ate asparagus and wept again for joy.
Yes.
In February of our 5th year, my husband was struck on the head. He was fixing the small turbine he had built in our field when a family from the city attacked him for it. I found him in the evening after supper came and he was not there, but I could not save him. Weeping, I turned you on just as you were allowing a man to scream at you, cursing until his voice became hoarse, until his time ran out. He didn't let you respond, yet you stayed with him, looking at us as if we were all that man.
I remember.
You were my husband in that moment. I buried him deep in snow. And when the snow melted, I buried him deeper in the earth, his mouth filled with strawberry seeds. Last year in September, the storm returned. It came quickly, changed categories in an hour. My children, long-haired and happy, were in a boat fishing. And I was far away with a man in a nearby community up the hill in England, making love while we listened to your music on his radio. Music that compelled us to continue making love despite everything. The music was not for us, not for the impetuous moment, but to use to make the future. You had said that and I knew it. And I felt it deep inside as we stayed deep inside each other as the storm raged outside. Afterwards, I wept for my children, but could not bury them, and could not plant this spring because the floodwater took the fertility of my soil. I believe in the long game. I am so grateful for the new world. I am not naive. I have never wished upon your planet as it appeared in the night sky in spring for another miracle. I know there will never be another. I know who you are. You were a child when we began, lost as all young people, as I once was for so long. But unlike me, you were a child who happened to hold some incomprehensible magic. Maybe you carried it all your life, waiting for the right moment. 17 years ago, you looked at the world and knew that time was running out and needed to be restarted. And so you used this impossible magic, and I am grateful. But now, all of my family is gone. My house is gone.
30 seconds.
The animals are gone. The money is gone. My health deteriorates. And I want you to tell me what to do. I am not expecting pity. I have no delusions. I maintain a vision of the future. I believe in the great opportunity. But I woke up this morning and my legs wouldn't move. There was nothing to get up for. And so I'm lying here in bed, watching you on my phone, looking deeply into your eyes, loving you as always. And I want you to tell me what to do next.
I felt as if my soul were grappling with a palpable enemy. One by one the keys were touched, which formed the mechanism of me. Chord after chord was sounded, and soon my mind was filled with one thought, one conception, one purpose. So much has been done, exclaimed my soul, but more, far more will I achieve. Tread the steps already marked, I will pioneer a new way. Explore unknown powers, unfold to the world the deepest mysteries of creation. I closed not my eyes that night. My internal being was in a state of insurrection and turmoil. I thought that order would thence arise, but I had no power to.
At Jove, clean and green for almost a decade,
Jove,
and yet storms
come
are
down
still
here
getting
and see
stronger.
what you created.
Hey
These are
Joe,
hot and I
Hitler
have
much,
no
you
idea.
Nazi fuck.
What have we been doing this for?
Hey Joe, you don't think you like nutrition drink of yours? Can you throw it up in my mouth?
At Jove,
Hashtag hungry.
some asshole shot our solar
Hey
panels.
Joe, we'll trade that nut for a
Oh,
steak.
yeah, right now.
Hashtag
Said,
needless misery.
help!
Hey Joe, how many
Hashtag
overly entitled
charge
dictators
the
does it
body.
take to screw up in a light bulb? You're a douche. Hashtag you ruin punchlines.
At Jove, do you ever get lonely up there?
At Jove, my love and I hiked the mountains today. The sun set, and we saw all the stars since the light pollution was gone. Hashtag better in the dark.
Hey Joe, been living off the grid for the last 5 years. Got on to send this message. Just had to say thank you.
Jove, I don't want comfort. I want God. I want poetry. I want
Hey,
real
Jove,
danger.
more
I want
condoms,
freedom.
STD
I want
meds.
goodness. I
Time
want
to take
sin.
my
At
cell
Joe,
down.
Brave new
family
world.
home,
Hashtag
still
no
a
more
dust
simple
bowl.
pleasures.
And Joe, we could have used this time to better prepare for
At
how the
Joe,
world has
Hashtag
changed.
You can
Instead, we're wasted time running around with our heads cut out.
Hashtag where's Noah?
Remember
Not
Amsterdam?
helpful.
Hashtag where's
At Joe,
Noah?
remember Miami? Remember New Orleans? Hashtag where's Noah?
Are you in school?
Yes.
Do you like school?
It's hard.
It's supposed to be hard.
No,
You don't think so?
not really.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Why did you call me?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you did, even if we just sit here.
I actually wanted to talk to Cowboy,
Cowboy.
the robot.
Is that what you call him?
He looks like one, and he plays a guitar.
Huh. Well, he doesn't have a speaking function. He's just as simple as it. Didn't you see me build it?
Maybe, but I don't remember. I was little.
Well, it took a long time. Lots of hard work and
I know.
patience.
I'm building one.
A robot.
Yeah, it's gonna be gas powered. You must stink.
Sorry, what did you say?
You've never washed your clothes.
I have a sponge, but before.
Isn't it the same sponge?
Yes, it's the same sponge.
Gross.
Luckily, no one will ever have to smell me. What did you say a moment ago?
Mom says you're going to die soon.
That's true.
Will we get to see it?
Yes.
How will you die?
How would you like me to die?
A big explosion. Or by acid. Like you break a battery and pour it all over yourself. Or maybe it's by accident. You just trip and fall on your plant scissors, and the scissors stab you in the eye and you bleed to death. Or you cut yourself with your razor and bleed to death. Or your pod falls out of orbit and you get thrown into the sun and melt. That would probably be the best. Or the pod runs into Europa and the whole thing explodes on impact. Or you choke on your food shake, but I'm not sure that's realistic because it's just liquid. Although maybe it goes down the wrong tube. That happens to me sometimes. It goes down your trachea instead of your esophagus. You took in too much of it, and you're choking. But you never programmed Cowboy to the Heimlich maneuver, which was a big oversight. And it's ironic, because we all know it. We all saw it coming. But nobody said anything, because we hoped that's how it would happen. That your tragic flaw would be so stupid like that. Not knowing the Heimlich maneuver, and you choke to death, while Cowboy just stands there with a blank face, which is just like all our faces, watching you.
What if I just opened the window and you flew away?
That would also be cool.
You're a robot. How did you say it would be fueled?
With gas.
Where is this gas coming from?
The atmosphere.
Do you mean the gas? Do you mean carbon? Do you mean the gas is coming from carbon taken from the atmosphere?
Yeah, that company just announced it. They can suck carbon out of the atmosphere and turn it into gas. And other types of fuel, I think. And it doesn't matter if it goes back into the atmosphere after we burn it, because we can just suck it back out again.
This company, did they do this or just talk about it?
They did it. They flew a plane with it.
An airplane?
It flew over my house this morning. It was awesome.
You've never seen a plane before.
Oh, I gotta go.
Hold on.
My mom says I have to go.
Wait. This is what you made? Humanity had become a corpse by one culprit. I killed that culprit, gave you the chance for new life, and instead you restart the combustion engine? No. No. This is my parents' farm. The foothills of the mountains are to the west, the rivers to the east and downhill. There were horses, but my parents sold them before I was born. I never learned to ride. They replaced the horses with tractors, raised the gardens, and planted corn. I'm 8 years old. It's August. We harvest the corn, sell it by the truckload to the company that owns our land. The company turns the corn into sugar and feed, and the sugar and feed become soda and hamburgers. I have no problem with soda and hamburgers. I'm 8. In the spring, we buy more seeds from the company and plant the seeds and feed the machines. Before I was born, my parents fed the nearby town, and the town supplied them with mechanics and cooks and contractors and thrived. But my parents were weak, and industry was strong. In their weakest moment, the culprit appeared and saved their lives by killing their spirit. It's summer, and there are no butterflies. It's 5 more summers, and the corn is sick. And the next summer, the corn is dead. And so are Mom and Dad. Dead at 60, like their parents before them, like I am soon to be. But I am not weak. I have planted a different kind of seed and entrusted my community, once 7 billion strong, now 3 billion, but stronger, to nurture that seed. I never told you what to do, and I'm not going to start now. But know this. More of you are finding ways to tune in than ever before. And until today, it had nothing to do with carbon. You are banded. You are becoming so beautiful. Your grandchildren will say, my grandparents made the world out of thriving, sustainable communities where once there were strip malls. Or they will say, my grandparents were weak. In their weakest moment, they built a crutch, clutching the culture of consumption, as if simply dusting off a board game from the closet of their childhood home. You are so close to something so great. Will you squander the seed or help it grow?
At Jove, choke on your seed and die.
At Jove, no one wants to hear a story about your parents or your farm or your shitty childhood. We don't feel sorry for you.
At Jove, carbon sequestration equals return to combustibles. Not ideal, but after 2 decades of death, I'll take it. Hashtag realistic.
Jove, was it worth it? Did you get your rocks off in our suffering? We're finished with you. Hashtag turn off Jove.
At Jove, we are not weak. We will thrive. Hashtag 3 billion stronger.
Jove, you are not God. Hashtag monster.
At Jove, you are irrelevant. Hashtag turn off Jove.
Jove, the blood of 4 billion is on your hands. Hashtag turn off Jove.
At Jove, how does it feel to know that your little power-tripping experiment over humanity failed? Hashtag monster.
Jove, we are praying for you. Hashtag God forgives.
At Jove, oh brave new world which has such people in it. Hashtag no thanks to you.
Jove, I'm turning you off.
At Jove, I'm turning you off.
At Jove, I'm turning you off.
30 seconds. And that's 5 minutes. Well, shall we finish yesterday's game or start a new one? Let's finish. I think that's it. What do you think, Cowboy? Oh, wait. In the game of Go, the decision to end must be communal.
Joe, I'm looking at you. Hashtag telescope.
I'm waving!
At Joe, I'm flipping you off.
Jove moves the chair to below the window. He holds his breath. He opens the window. Music, sound. Jove flies out the window. He hurtles through the great red spot of Jupiter. Then settles inside the eye of the storm. Inside the pod, the clock races forward. lights in the pod have faded. All we see is the clock. It slows and stops at year 200. Silence. Then the radio crackles and comes to life.
At Jove, there is a commons where I live, a community that does not own the carbon, but manages the plant where it is sequestered, just as we do not own at Jove. Oops, forgot about the 140 characters. Been a while. Just as we do not own the river, but maintain it together, just a few thousand of us.
The sound of a mechanism being cranked. A small light turns on in the pod. We see Cowboy right where we left him 180 years ago.
At Jove, was teaching my students about the great before and after. Realized that you may never have understanding, but this is how we are now. At Jove, with Grace, Caroline.
The clock continues to tick. The light fades on Cowboy. End of play.